rolling. Timer starts now. Mark. Hi, I'm Ford.
And I'm Sky. And these are not our real names. These are our superhero names, and with our powers combined, we formed the writing partnership L. Skyford. Welcome to Booklandia.
Today, we're going to review a book, most likely a romance. But before we get much further, did you know you can watch our faces do this episode by subscribing to us on Twitch at L. Skyford or YouTube at L.Skyford? You should really do it. We give good face.
And sometimes there's a dog bomb at Ford's house.
This is true. For our other socials, you can follow us on Twitter at SkyfordL, on Instagram at L.Skyford. And if you're interested in our book, blog, or even more book reviews, head over to our website, lskyford.com.
Lastly, this and every episode are chock full of oversharing and spoilers, and every episode is rated E for explicit. You have been warned.
I love our opener.
Hi.
Hi. All right, today we are talking about Take a Hint, Dani Brown by our all-time favorite romance author, Talia Hibbert. But
Yes.
First, how are you?
I'm a little bit more nervous than I should be because we've been doing this for a while, but now we are recording this for podcast purposes and for reasons that I cannot explain with my explainy brain. I am much more stressed out than I normally am. Despite the fact that I love this book and I'm really excited to talk about it. How are you?
Hard same. I am aromatherapying myself right now to like chill out. I've got the lavender candles going. I have a lavender mint tea that I'll be sipping on. Like, I'm just trying to trick myself into not being nervous because we've been doing this already, but now it feels real.
It feels more real than it's been before.
Realer.
Yeah. Oh, I can't even say it. So. All right. Well.
Oh, man. Yeah. So let's get in. Dani Brown is the second Talia Hibbert book in a series about the Brown sisters.
Yes, the series is called The Brown Sisters. We're doing this particular book for two reasons. A, it is hilarious. The first book is worth your time as well. This one is hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
And B, her next book in this series is coming out very soon. And I'm halfway through that book, and it is a joy of joys. And so we need to talk about this book so that we have the space to talk about the other book as well, because the gushing, oh man, the gushing. It's going to be really hard for me because I'm so in love with the other book right now, but I'm going to put my brain on Dani Brown and really go for it.
I mean, we felt the same when we read Dani Brown. I read it much after you did, and you were just trying not to throttle me to read it. So
I mean, it's true.
Yeah. This Talia Hibbert does this to us. Like, haven't met a Talia Hibbert we hate. So she's crown. She's the queen.
That is so true. 110%. Okay. So the thing we're going to do, you ready for this?
Yes.
I'm not ready for this and I wrote the thing. The thing we're going to do is we're going to put 30 seconds on the clock and try to, in 30 seconds, explain the plot of this book. Mostly because long plot explanations bore both of us. I'm sorry, I'm speaking for you as well as for me, but that's true.
No, true.
And so we're going to go through it in 30 seconds or less. We're going to see if I can make it through all of the text I wrote in the 30 seconds. So as the honorary and not so honorary stage manager in our lives, could you put 30 seconds on the clock? And then could you tell me what are you going to do when the 30 seconds run out? Like, what is going to be the cue here?
I'm going to give you a 10-second warning.
Okay. All right. I think I'm ready for this.
And then I'm going to make some ridiculous noise that will shock you out of it.
Fantastic. I think I'm ready. I think I'm ready.
Okay. You ready? I'm going to count you down as well. How about that?
Thank you. Thank you. That's
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Dani needs to finish her PhD. She also needs to get the cobwebs out of her vagina. So she prays to the goddess for help. What she wasn't expecting is a former rugby player reading romance novels, carrying her out of the building like it's on fire. It was only a drill. He's looking for a happily ever after, but will settle for now
10
for
seconds.
the accidental fake relationship he stumbles into with Dani. She doesn't think he has time for more than friends with benefits. However, their connection is getting too strong to just be a bit of fun.
You fail.
I should really read through my tongue twisters before attempting this. So to reiterate, she wants to be friends with benefits. He wants to be much more than that because he believes in a strong relationship. His name, which I did not even mention in this, is Zephyr, and I feel like we should bring that up as well. Phew.
Now how stressed are you? Take that.
Oh no, I was just like, there are so many words. I wrote so many words. It was hard to like really compile it. So Cobwebs in the Vagina, the credit for that goes to Talia Hibbert herself, because that is what Dani says about herself as she's thinking through how long it's been. So I love that. So one of the things that I love about this book are all of these turns of phrase. That one was one that's really stuck with me. There's a couple more I'm going to bring up. So this book got released on June 23rd of 2020. And
yeah, and it's sort of like, it's not opposites attract. It's just like two people in different points of their lives who are just really made for each other, trying to find the right time to be together, kind of, you know, like two opposite people who are both really great, but they're just in different parts of their lives, just having to take their two paths and figure out how to converge them.
Yes. So on the trope front, I feel like this one had a bunch, but I didn't really mind them so much. So there is a fake relationship because an image of Zephyr and Dani being carried out of the building goes viral, and then they just let everyone assume that they're together, and then they suddenly actually want to be together. There is I don't know, what else would I really call a truly tropey trope, other than you're right, they're not opposites. He's very sure about the things he wants. She's very sure about the things she wants, and they happen to be not the same things.
Yeah. We're going to talk about it a little later, but Zephyr is 100% a cinnamon roll to me. So, and I know you're just like, not 100% on what that means, but you know, we're going to
get to it.
Push that open. We'll push that door open.
I do think they're Sunshine and what's that one? Sunshine and Grump. Right? There's a trope where maybe, one of them is the sunny one and the other one is the grumpy one. So yes.
Sure. Like work-life balance. Is that a trope? Is that even a trope?
I think that's just a conversation we're having as a human race right now, is how to balance those things. But I don't know that it's a trope, but
for sure.
So, in terms of questions about the plot, let me I'm gonna ask you a question. This transition was terrible, so enjoy the terrible transition into.
Well, let's let the peoples know. So instead of just like going through beat by beat this whole book or just talking willy-nilly, we're going to ask each other questions. There's going to be 3 questions before our break. And you know, we're going to try and expound on the plot a little more, on the characters a little more, and on some other interesting things that the book does special.
Yes. Okay. So the start of Dani's oh nope, I'm gonna try that again when I can make my mouth do the words. The start of Dani and Zephyr is a viral fake relationship. Thoughts on fake relationships in real life? Yes? No?
People have fake relationships in real life when you're not like a celebrity?
Hard yes. There are many, many reasons for fake relationships.
Interesting.
All of them for fear of what other people might think of them if they do not have a
Mhm.
relationship, for the purposes of
Interesting.
getting a job with a conservative company. Yes, absolutely.
Okay,
People
you're right.
maintain
You're right.
relationships or misconstrue the nature of their relationship. Absolutely, yes.
You're
Yes,
very
I think
right.
it happens. In my life, I've been fortunate enough to not that's not true. I take it back. You and I probably have done it when we've been out at a I know out at a restaurant or bar has not happened in a very
Oh,
long time, but, like, where
uh-huh.
someone comes up to you and you don't want to talk to them, and you
Yeah,
imply, implicitly or explicitly, that the person you're
yeah.
with is your significant other, and the 2
Mhm.
of you are not interested. I feel like there's had to have been
That's
at
true.
least one instance of us,
Yeah.
like, leaning into each other so that the person would not make assumptions. Thank
Sure,
you, by the
for
way,
sure.
for rescuing me if that is in fact the case.
I consider it from a good wing person point of view that I like, if I ever, like, put my arm around you, it was, like, to rebuff someone that we just didn't wanna deal with for sure. I don't know, I just feel like a fake relationship, like, you've named a whole bunch of great reasons, but to do it in a sense where, like in this book, where both people are involved in it and it's not just a one-sided wall sort of boundary, it it makes me very nervous, emotionally. Like the emotional, mental labor is worrisome for me. So just like if you're gonna go into a fake relationship, set your hard boundaries, stick to them, communicate, and take care of yourself. Talk to your therapist about it while you're doing it.
Excellent.
That's all. That's all. Then
Cool.
disclaimer town is done.
Disclaimer down. I like it.
Thank you. Okay, so my turn for my question.
Yes,
Danny and
please.
Zafir start this fake relationship after they're videoed. He carries her out of a building during a fire drill, um, and it goes viral.
Mhm.
So, I guess, what do you think about the power of internet and social media that it has on our lives these days? Because they changed their entire lives over a video.
I think this is something that I'm gonna make us sound elderly here, and this isn't ageist in any
Not
way.
hard.
But, I do think that this affects people who are younger than us in a much greater way. I think
Mm.
about, the Netflix, version of All the Boys I've Loved, where she
Mm.
makes him the photo of the 2 of them, the cover of her phone, and that means something in the high
Mm.
school
Mhm.
dynamic that, like, now they're I'm putting it in air quotes, "going steady," or like their
Mhm.
relationship has evolved because now he's on the cover of her phone or now he's on her Instagram with her. So I think for me, it doesn't mean a whole lot, but I feel like there are people and those people are simply they're not younger than me, but they're definitely more active on social media for whom changing their relationship status on social media is a huge deal. I remember this is gonna be elderly of again, not I'm not trying to, like, make people feel bad about their age, but when
It's
Facebook
a
first came
self-reaction.
Right.
Yeah.
When Facebook
Yeah.
first came out with the relationship status, I remember
Mhm.
how significant it was to change your relationship status from single to,
Yes. It's
in a relation
complicated.
well, and that was the big thing, right? If you changed it to instead of in a relationship, you changed it to it's
Mhm.
complicated, it got to like it was
Mhm.
like, "Ooh, what are you trying to say? Are you not
Yeah.
in a relationship? Like, is there some sort of trouble going on?" So I feel like this is a blown up version of that, but I do remember living through that
Mhm.
and people being like, "Ooh, why is it complicated?" And getting
Yeah,
really
people would
sassy
call
about
you out of the blue
Right,
being like, "Is everything okay?"
right, you switched it to "It's complicated." So, if that
Mhm.
tiny change elicited that reaction, then imagine what happens when you add a whole new person to your social media feeds, which are
It's
now
true.
updated so much faster, right? You don't have to go to a computer
Mhm.
to update your status,
No.
and you can post their picture, and you can very self-evidently in a visual be engaged with them or disengaged from them. So
It's true. I am one of those people where we do things social media here for El Skyford and Booklandia, and that's about as much as I want to do. Like, I used to post a whole lot more on my personal feeds, but like all of my social media energy is now here. Like, I just worry about the power social media has. And yeah, being like very one of those people who started Facebook as basically as soon as it started, it's been a part of my life now for 15 years, like half my life. That's insane. It just feels like so much. And I'm trying to figure out a healthy balance. So, oh man, social media,
social
internet.
media.
What do we do without it? Can't
True.
live with it, can't live without it.
I feel like you found a romance trope in social media. It's a
I
whole
mean, now,
TED Talk.
yeah, now that I'm currently reading Alicia Rye First Comes Like, and that's the last in a series where they're all about something social media related. So it's becoming a thing, a good way to for people to connect. I mean, we read a handful of books where social media was a big component. Boyfriend material had a lot of texting and social media apps. They're everywhere.
Okay, so my next question is about character. Again, segues, totally my thing today. Just like you've been in this pool for a while, you got
Yeah,
nice and warm. Goodbye, go in a
you get
different
the
pool.
point. Yeah, let's talk about Danny and Saphir. Let's get down into it.
Yes. So, um, Danny's convinced that she can't have a romantic relationship and
Mhm.
a professional life, a successful career that are equally satisfying without sacrificing one of them. So,
Mm.
and this is kind of a trope. There's a lot of very work focused people who have to let go a little bit of their professional reins in order
Mhm.
to have a successful romantic relationship. The thing that I love about this book is that Dani does not back down from her professional aspirations. She finds a
Absolutely.
partner who supports her professional aspirations and allows her to grow not just in one area of her life, but in multiple areas of her life. And that is actually
Yeah.
really rare, I feel like, in fiction and in real
Mhm.
life, because there's a lot of like, well, it's a give and take, and you have to give up
Mhm.
a little bit of this to make this other thing work. And so this is where Dani Brown blew me out of the water because she does not give up her career. She
Yeah.
adds another layer of complexity to how she distributes her time and her love.
Yeah.
And so like not like a real, not a golf clap to that. It was amazing. I'm getting to a question, I swear. And my question is that realistic? Like, is it
Huh.
that all other fiction has portrayed a realistic thing where you have to give up a career aspiration in order to have a successful romantic relationship, do you think? Or is Talia Hibbert right and you can successfully achieve
You
multiple
have it all.
happinesses? Yes.
Sure. So before I answer your question, I want to like expound on like what this so in the book, Danny is prepping to be on a panel with her idol. So Danny is a feminist literature, feminist English professor, and she's going to be on a panel with someone she is just idolized. And so her method of work is just to cram all the information into her brain and to succeed. And so this it felt really great. So Danny is a black woman, and so this felt like very true to how I understand black women feel they need to succeed in the workplace. They need to always they're always working twice as hard to get half as far. And that really shines in Danny's personality. Shines is not the right word. It's her personality is a good example of that. And I was worried through the whole book that she was going to flop at this panel. I was worried that she was going to fail and that was going to be part of the black moment. And I didn't want that to happen because that's just not a great thing to happen to a character, but also to happen to a like kick-ass professional woman who is also black. And she didn't. She fucking kills it. Spoiler alert. We warned you there were spoilers. She fucking owns. And it's fantastic. And I was so excited for her. And she get like, so to get to the answer of your question, I think it is absolutely possible. I feel like I have that in my relationship. I'm not a particularly ambitious person. I don't have a 5-year plan. I don't want a 5-year plan. I'm very happy with the course of my life and the connections and work and stuff that I do. But I feel support and I feel he pushes me. We've now gotten to the point he knows when to push me and like when to drop the bits in. So it's about finding that balance, and then also reciprocating it. Like I try to support him in his work-life balance and push him when he's working too much, and figuring out how we just get through this crazy thing called life without pulling our hair out, and trying to do it kindly and with love. Do you think it's possible?
Yes, absolutely. I think it's possible because I think what changes is the definition of what is enough and what is necessary, right? If your singular focus is on your career and you do have really ambitious goals, and those goals prevent you from having any time for a person in your life, but you still want to have a connection with that person, we now have social media to keep us connected, or text messages or like funny memes or whatever it is, and so
Yeah.
you can emotionally expand. Or if you read it, success is not defined the same way as it used to. Like the
Yeah.
pinnacle of ambition can mean doing a certain amount of work stuff, a certain amount of family life stuff, and a certain amount of you stuff, and that, right,
Mm-hmm.
is the success. And I think that's really what Dani has to discover, is that she has to, because she just says, I can't have a romantic relationship because I have to have all of my energy focused on this. And what Zafir
Mm-hmm.
says, you can have a romantic relationship and also have enough energy to focus on this and to be energized even further by a supportive partner. And so that's exactly what it is.
Mm-hmm.
It's sort of,
Yeah.
so the rebalance isn't because you finally found another 12 hours in a day. The rebalance is in the fact that you now share your emotional labor with someone. You now share your successes and your failures with someone. And so you don't have to carry the entire burden on your shoulders. And even if
Yeah.
it's not romantic, if the relationships in your life are platonic, you still, right, that you need a village, a person, people that you carry your load with. So not only is it possible, but I'm a huge proponent of do it anyways. Show up for other people, and it will ultimately make you show up for yourself a lot more.
That's awesome. That is, yes, you nail head met. They've
Excellent.
had a meet cute, and you've done it.
Fantastic.
So Zafir, I called him a cinnamon roll, and I'm going to tell you why I think he's a cinnamon roll. So,
Okay.
to me, a cinnamon roll is soft and gooey on the outside, but like a little bit firm and crunchy on the outside. And then when you just smear them in something and that you get to lick off, it tastes even better. No, no,
Whoa.
that's not part of it. Or
Whoa.
is it?
Oh,
Is it?
is it?
So, Zafir is an ex-rugby player. He quit playing rugby after a traumatic experience in his family, and that yes, that's right. And he now works as security at Dani's university, where she's a professor, in the building where she teaches her class. And he reads romance novels, and he brings her granola bars every day. And like he was already halfway in love with her before she even like looked twice at him, really. Like they were already halfway in love with each other by the time the book started, which is a delight. Um, but we don't see a lot of cinnamon roll male leads. We see a lot of alpha males and like biker dudes who wear leather and are tough, and werewolves and vampires who stalk the night. Why do you think that it's such an infrequent character trope? And do you like it? Do you think readers like it, and why?
So, firstly, I think you just blew one of our minisodes because we were going to talk about a cinnamon roll.
Sorry.
No, it's fine. Come
Not
back for
sorry.
when that's just going to be the title of the minisode.
Yeah. We'll talk
Uh,
about way more than Zephyr.
Secondly, I think we've recently seen a lot more men who are emotionally available, and I think you and I in particular seek out romance novels that do have that. I think that there is an archetype of a testosterone-filled alpha male man that appeals to,
Mailman.
well, also that
Yeah.
appeals or used to appeal to an audience, right? There's the perception of someone who's gonna rescue the damsel in distress, someone
Right.
who's gonna take charge and protect you and sort out all your woes, and all you gotta do is just lounge half naked on a fainting couch. And there's an appeal in that, right? Like
Mhm.
fainting
Sure.
couches are very comfortable. So I can
Being
absolutely
half naked is fantastic.
right. So I can absolutely see the appeal of escapism into a world where these knights in shining armor exist and people who really crave that. The problem with, for me, the problem with those characters is that they are so removed from reality that I have a hard
Mhm.
time connecting with them. And I think the popularity of what you refer to as the cinnamon roll and what I refer to
Yeah.
as an emotionally available male is that they are more realistic, right? From an emotional
Yeah.
standpoint, we crave emotionally available people in our lives. And so we earn for the couple to get together when you know that they're not just going to be happy in the moment, but they're going to be happy for a long time because this person who's emotionally available is going to take care of her. So it's
Yeah.
not really about being taken care of ourselves in the moment so much as being taken care of long term. So, um, that's why I think that's where we're at.
I think also society is changing. Society has said you don't have to, as men, you can cry. You can feel emotions, show emotions. You don't have to be a brick
Well,
wall.
some of society. Let's not run
Our
ahead of the
society.
train.
Sure. Uh, that's the way I would like to see society moving towards more fully. But like, you don't need to fully bear the brunt of being the breadwinner. And I think that also comes from the fact that women are now feeling empowered enough to save themselves, have ambition, have it all. They're not completely dependent. We are not completely dependent anymore. So we're giving more emotional room for men.
Yeah, and I think that's great. All right, I'm
Same.
gonna yet again like hard switch topics because
Yeah.
transitions are
Next
hard.
question.
Next question. Okay. So this book, to my absolute delight, has laugh out loud descriptions during sex
Mm-hmm.
scenes. Hilarious sex scenes.
Yes.
How do you feel about
Yes.
hilarious sex scenes? Are they like, are you in or out?
Heyo. In, then out, then in, then out, then
There you
in and
go.
out, but slower.
Ooh, now we're getting somewhere.
um, I don't mind it. I don't mind it. Talia Hibbert is a master. She did it great. It was delightful. Um, it's her books are always delightful. I do like for the sex scenes. It's transportive to me. I want to be aroused by a sex scene. So as long as it's still arousing, it you can laugh during it. Like that feels like I've laughed in intimate moments. So like that feels real.
Yes,
It
I
doesn't
agree.
always need to be like scowly, angsty love making.
I am a laugh during sex type of person, so I love the
Yeah.
funny ones. And
Yeah.
this particular book is chock full of hilarious, and I mean that in the
Yes.
best way, hilarious sexual situations. And I
Very true.
loved every one of them. There is a table that gets shattered.
Yeah.
Comic books like comic style where the legs splay out from under it. There is
Yep.
yeah. There's something else that I'm going to
It's
talk
great.
about later, so I'm just going to tease at
Same.
it.
Same. So this book begins when Dani prays to her goddess for like for a love partner, for a sex partner, and her goddess gives her through various signs Zephyr. Do you believe in the power of intention? I feel like that without being religious, she put an intention out into the world. Do you believe in those?
This is so hard for me. My hardcore nihilist self wants to tell you hard no, but I
Yeah.
am also religious and I do believe in a thing that is beyond the mortal coil. And so I want to say yes. But I am not the type of person that typically puts positive intentions out into the world. As you all know, I keep them really close to the vest until the last possible
Yep.
minute, and it's really
You
frustrating.
squelch them and discount them and ignore them until they feel very heartbroken. And then, and then you let them blossom sometimes, which is
Yes,
very
so
beautiful.
yes, but it is really taxing emotionally, right? Because and I feel like it's done out of self-preservation insofar as like if I put a positive intention out into the world and it doesn't work out, it's
Yeah.
just so heartbreaking. But if I never told anyone, then I'm the only one heartbroken.
Sure.
So that was surprisingly emotional. So
Mm,
that's why I don't put them out there, but it doesn't mean I don't believe in them.
yeah. I, I'm not somebody to be like, hey, everybody, put your good vibes out there. Hashtag good vibes daily. But, if somebody wants them, I will intention all of my good vibes out to them. It like, if you believe it works, who am I to say it's not going to work? It's, I am not a religious person, but I understand that power, the power of prayer, the power of mindfulness, the power of intention and drive. So to each their own and to everyone. I sometimes I need good vibes and I don't know it. So there we go. Shall we take a break?
Now is a great time. Oh, for a break. It helps when I push the right buttons to do it.
It's all
All right,
good.
we
All right.
will be right back.
Okay, we're going to take an intermission right here. When we come back, we're going to break down our favorite moment from the book
and discuss our ratings and if this book made us want to get naked.
Please enjoy this message from one of our friends in the podcasting world. Hello. Hello.
And we're back.
We are. All right. So we were going to talk about our favorite or most compelling moments from Take a Hint, Dani Brown by Talia Hibbert.
Yes.
Take it away.
Absolutely. So the thing that I really liked is actually the black moment that's air quoted, the darkest moment of the book when they have the biggest fight and then she walks away from him and then it's a will they won't they situation.
Mm-hmm.
So the breaking moment of this particular book is very honest to me, and they talk through the thing that was so will they won't they is that she tells him exactly why she's walking away, and it's because she genuinely doesn't believe that they can be romantically involved and that she can commit enough time to him in the same moment as committing enough time to her career. And they listen to each other. He hears what she has to say, and he already knows that he can make it work, but he lets her walk
Mm-hmm.
away and he lets her sort it out. And that felt so much healthier and so much more like there is processing and understanding of how to resolve this fight, which is something that Talia Hibbert is great at. She actually, I think, did like a seminar on how not to do will they, won't they break up type like
Mm-hmm.
breaking points in a book, that like there is a if you don't want a black moment at the end, like a breaking point that maybe severs all connection, there are other things to write, and that's what she does. And I absolutely, every time I read one of her stories, love how she treats adults, because in so many books this fight happens and it's so juvenile and it's so overblown,
Mm-hmm.
and then as a reader I'm like, just talk to each other. Like people in real life, yes, they might be loud and yelly and screamy or quiet and withdrawn, but 10 minutes or 10 hours later they come back to each other, specifically if they love each other. And all of these books are designed to let us believe that these people are massively in love. And so for me to believe that like all of this love and all of this attraction is just erased in one fight is really hard. And so I love Talia Hibbert for telling us that that is not how it is, and that
Yeah.
as adults they might decide not to stay together, but they will talk about it. So
Sure.
that is the
Absolutely.
most compelling moment to me. Um,
Yeah.
and then my favorite moment has to be their first sexual encounter with each other. They're in her living room and she bends over and he leans into her vagina, and
Yeah.
the thing that she says
Yeah.
is the only way to describe what happened next is he fell into my vagina. And I was like, this
Yeah.
is the funniest. It's still
Yes.
sexy, but it was so funny.
Uh-huh.
It was lovely.
Yeah. Yeah.
Also, yes, I feel like it's a thing all of us now need in our lives, someone to fall into our
Mm-hmm.
vaginas. For
Hard
those of us
same.
who
Definitely
have
agree.
vaginas, I feel like that's a place
Yes.
people should fall into.
Yeah. There have someone fall into you out of
Yes,
pure lust and desire. For
exactly,
sure.
precisely.
Um, I agree. And I think overall this book was extremely humanly adult. Like it felt very mature. It felt very real. And I loved that. I wasn't like rolling my eyes at these characters. I was like, oh, they're doing this like adults. This is great. This is fantastic. It also made me snort, laugh out loud, which is not something I do a lot. My favorite quote was, faces were made for sitting on, not for kissing. Which is Dani trying not to be allured by Zephyr.
I
So there
mean,
you go. Yeah.
it's more of people's faces falling into vaginas, as it should be.
Yes. As
Uh,
it should be. All right. So, what
again,
was your
go ahead.
overall hot take of this book?
I absolutely loved funny it was. And Talia Hibbert, in the acknowledgement of this book, says how hard it was for her to write a laugh out loud funny book. And I think she did so great. But she,
Nailed
like, if
it.
you read the acknowledgement, she's like, I had to rewrite this 3 times, and it was the hardest thing I've ever done, because writing funny, laugh out loud funny stuff is really hard. And I think, absolutely nailed it. It's hilarious through and through. I also love Zephyr's family, found family, the reasons for what he's doing, the need to emotionally support other men in his community. We sort of haven't addressed the fact that he's Southeast Asian, or the fact that he's Muslim, and their community layers to that, and to the masculinity that is somewhat a prerequisite in some of these communities, and a rugby player. So there's all of these communities that he's part of that are all very strong, silent, manly men types. And he literally, the job that he takes on for himself is to destigmatize emotionally present and available and vulnerable men in all of those communities. So I know that's not a hot take, it's a very long take, but he's amazing. The book was hilarious. I want to be Dani because A, she does amazing things to her hair, and B, she kills it at her job, and she gets to read books for a living. So
I'm gonna pause right there and say your hair is blue. You do amazing things to your hair. You kill it at your job on the regular, and we are reading books, just not quite yet, for a living. So 2.5.
This is my aspirational statement. This is my putting it out into the universe.
Holy shit. I'm glad I wore a literal heart on my chest to clutch it.
There
amazing. Okay. All right. So my hot take, delightful read. Talia Hibbert did not let us down. Even though it's like a second book in a series, she just keeps getting better. How dare she? But also it's what we all deserve.
Not a sophomore effort. Absolutely agree. Yeah. Yes. All right. Did this book want to make you get naked?
I mean, yeah. It was I felt it so all over that the sexy parts were just like part of the whole. So I wasn't like stripping down while I'm reading it, but like it was good. It was good. Yes. Yes.
I like how understated that was.
Thank you. That's what people say about me all the time, is you're totally understated.
It was a hard yes for me. Obviously, there's so much conversation about giving and getting good head. Actually, this book has a lot of head in it, both for her and for him. So in case you're a fan of reading scenes where someone gets head, you are in for a treat on this one. They do, I mean, they also spend some time on actual sex acts, but yeah, this is pretty steamy. I was very into this.
There's also some excellent eating. There's some good food.
But by that, you mean just like food, not eating is a sex act.
Yes. You've already talked about that. I'm talking about the other kind. I was just thinking about the scene where he's on his lunch break in the parking garage and he's eating a sandwich, and then later they go out for dinner. Like, there's just some lovely dates.
There's a lot of food described deliciously in this book. Yes. Yes, I think that's what you're saying.
For sure.
Before we move on to anything else that we have in this episode, I want to give a shout out to our audio editor person, because I just realized that he's going to have to listen to us talk about this.
He sure
so
is.
I'm sorry, and you're welcome. And also thank you so very much for all your work.
I mean, spoiler alert, he's been sitting there the whole time, but he's had headphones on. So he's kind of had to listen to it twice.
Well, then, he has not heard my side of it. Again, I'm sorry, and you're, well, no,
you're
just
so
I'm
welcome.
sorry. You're so welcome. Yeah. Excellent. Before we get going,
Yeah.
what are you reading? Well, you sort of already said what you're reading next. So what are you reading next?
I'm already halfway through First Comes Like by Alicia Wright, another book with a yellow cover.
Yes.
Social media based. It's a very quick read. It's about Gia, the last sister, the youngest sister. But what I did want to say is, so next week we're going to do a mini-sode. I think we're going to talk about some tropes. And then the week after, we're going to try and do an episode on Eve Brown, which is the last of the Brown sister books. So I'm very excited and hella jealous that you're so far into it. I'm trying not to be mad about it, but my turn is coming soon, and I'm very excited about it.
Yes, and I want to give you the whole title of Eve Brown, because I feel like it is Act Your Age, Eve Brown. So this was Take a Hint, Dani Brown. The first one was Get a Life, Chloe Brown. And this last one is Act Your Age, Eve Brown. So
and
go get the Brown sisters.
Yeah, yes. Another youngest sister story, yeah.
Yes, though we don't really, the other two books in the Alicia Wright series are not about Gia's sisters. We just know all of them.
They're from a previous series.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Cool. So good. All right. Lovely starting this podcast with you.
Lovely starting this podcast with you. Right back at you.
We'll see you all next week for a mini-sode.
All right.
Bon voyage. So are you, dear audience human, gonna pick up this book now that you've heard our review? Let us know in the comments. Have a suggestion for another review? Slide on into our DMs.
If you like this adventure in books or updates on our upcoming projects, please follow, like, save, subscribe, rate, review us on Instagram at l.skyford, on Twitch at lskyford, and on Twitter at skyfordl. Phew. I'm Sky.
And I'm Ford. That's it for this episode. We'll see you next time on Booklandia, where every book is a whole world to explore. And we're out.